This hangout on the air is live. That's my new patented intro. We're very no frills here at Cage Side Live. We're just we tell you exactly what the screen says, and then when we're done, we just say goodbye. Now that's our new gimmick, right? Geno?
Sure. Hello, everyone.
It's Geno.
I'm talking to you two.
And look who else is here.
Hello, this dead silence.
No, see, I don't listen to any other. I don't even listen to this podcast. I don't like podcasts. That's so I've never actually listened to Not Your Demographic. But you're not actually on camera for NYD, are you? This is a
no. I'm not. Yeah, normally we're in the same place. Although the last 2 weeks we have done Google Hangouts, but didn't publish the video feed. Though both of us the whole time were like acting like everyone could see us, and at the end we were like, "Wait, no one could see any of that. That was unnecessary."
You could do them live if you do that.
Yeah, that's true.
But then you're still like your blog talk and like that. Like a lot of people don't look at see our video. Like if I'm ever making faces and shit, like there's people on SoundCloud and iTunes who have no idea what's going on.
It's another reason I don't mind not having my video on, because people don't watch it; they listen to it.
Yeah, I like that we can just see like an eye patch man. It's like, oh, Geno has something to say.
You don't know who that is?
It's Austin.
No, I don't.
It's Austin Aries, right?
Oh my God!
Is it Austin Aries?
No, it's not Austin Aries. Sean European. That's.
I was gonna say this just looks like a blurry painting. I don't understand.
That is Big Boss, and I'm personally offended that you don't know who that is.
No, I'm sorry.
It's from a video game. It doesn't matter. It's okay.
Okay, I was gonna say it does look like a video game, but I don't recognize the video game. Sorry.
Metal Gear Solid, only the greatest games ever.
Oh,
but
it's Metal Gear Solid. Oh, okay. I actually watched the fiance person just played through the latest one, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know what to call him. I hate that word.
He's a guy.
Fiance person. I like that.
A fiance person.
You enjoys him.
I did, but before I got married, I thought I was being like, I wanted to be like welcoming and everything, so I would refer to Julie as my partner, but then I'd get uncomfortable. Well, but then I get uncomfortable, and then I make sure I use a feminine pronoun later, so I completely deflate it, because I'm not nearly as secure in my sexuality as I think I am. So, yeah, I just gave up and just went, yeah. I was calling her my wife before we got married, actually. It's just shorthand. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I know. And I, know that there's, a part of me that's like, oh, feminism. Yep. I'm not going to call him my fiancé. But, I mean, that's what he is. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Feminism. We are joined by a feminist.
That's true. I am a feminist.
A feminist wrestling podcast host.
That's right.
Do you mind if I ask you about your feminist agenda, then?
You can ask me about my feminist agenda. That's fine.
What is your feminist agenda?
I would like for people to treat each other well. That would be really nice.
That is fucking radical. I won't have it.
Yeah. That sounds horrible and boring.
Right? What would Twitter be?
Exactly.
Well, so...
What would Enzo Amore promos be?
Well, we can start there if you'd like. But we want to say welcome to the show, Enigma Erin Cline.
Think you very much. It's very nice to finally be here.
It is. We had Stunning Stella on before, and I think one thing's become clear.
Did we? I don't think I was invited to that one either.
You were off, I think.
Yep.
Shame.
That's a shame. You didn't want to be on. But
that's not true, I don't think.
Well, the thing that's become clear is fuck Not Your Demo.
Yeah, fuck us, right?
Yeah, they turned the mic down, man. I'm still upset about it.
You gotta stop saying they. I have no control over any of the editing.
But Sean, good luck on the show tonight. Sean will be on with them tonight.
Yes, that's true. You are going to be on my show tonight.
I hope they don't turn
you
down.
Godspeed.
If you want to hear me say the same shit over again, like on Thursday, tune into that.
Right on.
We'll just ask different questions. It'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
Shit like TNA and NXT and stuff that I don't watch.
True. Yeah, maybe we just won't talk about Raw at all. And then we can force people to listen to your show.
So
interesting.
That means we have to talk about it here. That's a really good way, Geno. Do you want to start with Enzo? Erin, do you find Enzo Amore #problematic?
I personally don't know. I really like Enzo and Big Cass. I think that the writing that Raw does on the whole about Lana is problematic, but I don't think that Enzo is necessarily. I think Enzo's funny, honestly. I think that helps. I think when you do that kind of promo work and you're not funny, it's way more offensive. But because he has good comedic timing, it like works a little more for me, but I understand why people don't like it. It's
I just feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, honestly, it's just, I don't like that they talk about Lana as an object and that Rusev's pride is all about his whole thing is about his pride and not about, like, actually defending his wife when these people say terrible things about her. Like,
yeah.
It's just the whole story itself around Lana makes me very uncomfortable, and the way that they write about her, like, every time, consistently. One of the most consistent things about Raw is that the way that they write for Lana is awful.
Well, her intro is that her man can have her. So
yeah, which they stopped doing for a while and then did again last night, and I was like, well, here we go again. Great. Fantastic.
It's like she's a possession.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Enzo, the whole thing was Enzo to flip that and be like, well, I think she wants to fuck me.
Right,
she saw my little G or whatever. It just feels so like, it felt like a predator talking to, like, maybe not like that far, but it just felt kind of creepy and weird for me to listen to him.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm the only one.
Well, I also feel like that idea of, like, it plays very strongly on, like, you should never, ever look at another human being as attractive if you've paired off with another person, which is really silly. Like, it's really dumb, and it, like, reinforces this terrible idea that women shouldn't be allowed to look at other people and men shouldn't be allowed to look at other people when they're in a partnership. Like, it doesn't make any sense anyway, and it also promotes this, like, terrible idea of Lana as object who has no agency for herself. Like, I think that's a big part of why it also bothers me.
Well, you're talking to two monogamists, so
yeah, also non-monogamous. Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, you can be a monogamist and not pretend that you're not attracted to other people. I mean, just because,
right, exactly.
because I'm in a relationship with somebody and we have agreed to not have sex with other people doesn't mean we pretend we're no longer interested in looking at other people.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. And I feel like this. Sorry, go ahead.
Like, it would have been great if Enzo would have been like, she saw my dick and I think she wants to fuck me, and Rusev been like, I mean, all right. Maybe she does. Like, whatever. Not gonna, but, like, or even if she did, like, that's her decision. Like,
yeah. I mean, yes, that would be better, but that's not pro wrestling.
No, it's not. Enzo dies every time anyway. Rusev is so weird because it's like, I always feel like a situation happens and it comes, like, Enzo comes off so creepy and weird about the shit. And it's like, you know, he's going after the dude's girlfriend, wife now, I guess. Yeah. It just always feels like, how is Rusev the fucking bad guy here? Like, he literally did nothing wrong. Like, Enzo was pranked. What a fucking stupid-ass story, actually. Enzo was pranked to get naked. Lana accidentally saw it, and now they're fighting. Rusev and Enzo are fighting.
Right, that's exactly. That's what I was saying before about, like, it's all about Lana's status as an object, that's where Rusev's, like, pride is hurt because you looked at his object in this way. Whereas, like, I wish that he would just be like, what the fuck, dude? You were a dick to me. I don't give a fuck if my wife wants to fuck you. You're being an asshole right now. Like, I feel like that's where that should, like, the same thing happened with Roman, where Roman was a huge dick to Lana, and Rusev was like, how dare you treat my object like this? I will fight you now. As opposed to, like, hey, you're being a dick. You're being, like, a huge dick, and I'm going to fight you because of it. It just, like, it's so weird. I feel like we're being asked to look past and look at who's supposed to be the babyface and who's supposed to be the heel, and it's not right. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Enzo is, one of my cats is upstairs screaming, and so I was sort of looking and trying to figure out what that was all about. My life is very complicated.
Yes.
Not really. Enzo, well, the whole thing with Enzo, like, going back to when him and Cass showed up in NXT, is they were kind of supposed to be heels. I mean, he was like, he thought he was more sexually attractive than he actually is. He was, like, macking on Carmella when she didn't want it. And just because wrestling fans are wrestling fans and chanting is the greatest thing in the world to us, he got turned babyface, and they never changed the character. So at least he has a bit of an excuse, whereas Roman is more just sort of the classic, you know, WWE dickface character, you know. It's all what Vince.
That's
it's all
true.
what Vince finds is funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Enzo's the Rock. Like, he, in the sense of, like, all the words are wrong, but how he says them, like, it's cool. Go along with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like...
That is a really good comparison. I completely agree with that.
Enzo's the Rock. And he gets the crowd and the catchphrases, and it's like, the basic thing is totally the same. And the not having very good matches, it all lines up.
Yep. I don't think The Rock ever got concussed by a rope, but that's okay.
He's the next generation.
That's true. No, well, I do think. I mean, it is. Some of it is, and that I think it does go back. Well, and we were actually talking about this in the Cage Side Orifices last night. We don't really know what Vince thinks, but we do kind of like on the Stone Cold podcast interview where everybody remembers the brass ring stuff. The thing that started that was Vince telling the story of how funny he thinks it is to push people into the pool when they don't know it's coming. So that's the guy you're dealing with here. You're dealing with the big alpha male bully good guy who thinks he's a good guy even though he likes to bully people.
Whose sexual prowess is like a sign of
right, and that's I mean I was thinking that. I mean this is a little bit meta and Vince mind reading, but I mean Enzo and Cass are perfect for him because I just see like the biggest Vince insult in the world being that like you can't get it up. And so they get to, with the soft thing, he gets to make that joke over and over and over again.
Or even like the idea that Enzo could come out to pray. Yeah, you're right. Actually, to come to and again, we don't know what Vince thinks, but But
in this case, he did go on record and say, "This is the thing that I find funniest in the world, and it's a big dick move."
Yeah, and I guess I guess he would think that like if she's your girl and she wants to fuck me would be like the worst thing in the world you could say to a guy. In Vince's mind, could be that thing.
And especially with Vince, like with Rusev as like the big beefy bodybuilder type that Vince thinks is the male ideal, like to be like sidestepped by a very small man in his opinion, and like in the wrestling world, a like little dude, I think is also that like extra like fuck you, like that's where the insult is.
I think Vince is mad at Rusev because Rusev is dating Lana because Vince wants to date Lana and can't, and he's like, I'm going to take it out on poor Rusev. But like everyone wants to fuck Lana is basically her entire arc on TV, and it's because Vince wants to fuck Lana. Probably, allegedly, maybe. By the way, Rusev is the ideal male. Sean, if you could be any wrestler, like if you could trade places with any wrestler, who would it be? I would absolutely pick Rusev.
Current,
right now on the either Rusev or Bray Wyatt, because I just think he talks really cool.
You wouldn't want to be Braun Strowman?
No, I wouldn't want to be him. I want to admire him from afar. He's a mountain,
that makes sense
and
for Bray then.
I want to climb him. Yeah, I don't want to be him though. Bray or Rusev for me.
I don't know. Rusev, it's hard to argue with Rusev. I'd just like to be that hairy. That would just be awesome.
You're not that hairy? I figured you were.
I don't feel like I'm. I mean, I don't think anyone's ever confused me for a Yeti.
Erin, do you have an answer to that? Is there anyone you would...
Absolutely, I have an answer. Are you kidding? I want to trade places with Shinsuke Nakamura, 100%.
Oh,
that's who I pick.
Yeah.
It would be amazing. I get to hire a bunch of violinists anytime I have a big show. I get to knee people in the face and wear a bunch of red leather in. That's what I want.
Or not even violinists, just people to hold a violin and irate about.
Exactly. Correct.
And get yelled at. I can't talk about Shinsuke because everybody gets mad at me when I do because I complain about people doing his fucking song. Have you gone to an NXT show and hummed along with the song?
I haven't been to an NXT show since he joined the roster. I love his song and I like the idea of the crowd singing it, but they abuse it. I wish that they wouldn't do it so often. It really bothers me.
They're not any good at it. That's the problem. I mean,
yes, that's another part of the problem.
Even when I was doing it at NXT Baltimore / Bel Air, whatever it was, I was like, you know what, this sounds horrible. I'm going to stop. Because you can't, it's not meant to be, you're not meant to sing, you're not meant to chant violin chords.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No human is meant to do that.
It's really dumb.
It's weird.
I mean, and then you say that and it's like, heaven for fucking did anybody has fun, Geno. It's like, no, I mean, I
love going to wrestling shows and having fun. That is not fun. It like sing along to Glorious. That's a song that is meant to have like a crowd sing along, like not violent.
Yeah, it has words. Plus, they brought out actual, even if they weren't playing the fucking violence, the idea is they have people doing the violent stuff. Like, you're humming along to a it just doesn't make any fucking sense. But if you're there, I could totally get doing it. I would almost certainly do it. You get swept up in it. You're just having fun. But for the people at home watching on TV, it's like, I actually like the theme. I want to hear the theme. I don't want to hear you idiots fucking it up.
Well, and I also feel like if that was the only thing that those crowds did, especially the Full Sail crowd, I would let it go, honestly. But Full Sail is so annoying in so many other ways that I'm like, yep, nope, I hate that. Stop doing it. Yes. I'm very quick to be like, okay, you're all awful. I hate that.
Are they still that bad? I don't really watch NXT anymore.
They don't film in Full Sail quite as, I mean, like the last couple episodes haven't been there, so they've been, and they just did a whole ton where it was just as much stuff from like the California tour as it was at Full Sail.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I don't feel like they've been quite as bad, or maybe wrestling fans everywhere have gotten as bad as Full Sail is. Maybe it's that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So there you go.
What else happened on Raw that we have?
Can I change my answer based on, I'm going to use Erin's line of thinking, and I want to be Asuka, just because then I could I could just kick the shit out of people and just wear whatever like mismatched clothes I want all the time.
Yeah,
I like it. Asuka's great.
Good choice.
There you go. And I could scream in Japanese because that's like those are some of my favorite promos in the business now, when she just stops trying to speak English and just yells in Japanese for a little while.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Or Rusev.
I mean, Rusev's still a good answer, Geno. It's
Rusev,
okay.
I don't see any problems with being Rusev though. That's a win-win, I think.
I mean, Bray, just because of how he talks, I'd like to think that he talks like that literally all the time.
I think he does.
I think it's so fucking cool. Like, I've even just watched interviews with him where he talks normal, and his voice is so kind of like my voice is right now, but he's like very poetic. Like in
There's like
literally
a drawl to his voice too.
Yeah, it's awesome. Wasn't he originally supposed to be where's he actually from? I know they used to bill him from like Lafayette, Louisiana or something like that.
I know it's somewhere down there in like Georgia.
I think they're all
Florida
from Georgia
area.
I think everyone. Honestly, I'm sort of joking, but not entirely. I feel like every wrestler is somehow from Georgia or somewhere near Georgia.
From the Atlanta territory.
Exactly. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually thought Raw was a really good show, and I'm fucking blanking on what the hell even happened. Oh, Charlotte and Sasha.
Charlotte. And
yeah.
We could probably talk about Charlotte and Sasha. We could talk about crying drunk Paul Heyman. We could talk about.
He looked
Please talk about that.
We could talk about we could talk Roman and Kev. They set up Jericho, Rollins. I think. I mean, it was a pretty eventful fucking show.
We had the breakup of Jericho, and I was legitimately very sad.
They're not broken up, Erin. Don't say that.
He's still his best friend.
That's right. Kevin is still with him. Even he just wants him to shut up about the fucking list, which is understandable.
I kind of agree. I love the list. And I wish that they sold a Jericho clipboard on their website. I don't understand why they don't. Like, print money. I will buy one of those.
You should do that and then have someone follow you in the world filming you. And so, like, you could intentionally bump into someone at a Walmart and be like, oh yeah, you know what happens to people who bump into me? And then like make a big show of it, like clicking your pen and film that and just do that for a whole day. That would be the fucking greatest thing. I would do that.
That would be amazing.
And have the list of Jericho, like, you know what happens? How many people would actually know what you're doing is what's like that'd be an interesting study.
7.
That's a lot to go into a space and 7 random people know what you're doing.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, actually, because if I wear like a wrestling shirt outside, I'll get like one person who'll smile at me.
Yeah,
me
too.
One person who'll go like, hey man, or something like that, and that's it. And other people are just like, no, don't know what it is, or just why is he wearing that ugly shirt, or stuff like that. Yeah. What's with the shit on the back?
Dude, it's actually amazing. Like when I talk to like most of my buddies are like not really big wrestling fans. Like they're super, super casual. Like they'll watch it sometimes. If there's a show, they'll come over, bring the PlayStation, we'll hook it up to the TV and all that. And talking to them, it's so funny because they're like, I mean, you hear shit like, is Undertaker still around? It's like, yeah, he just came back. Actually, he's like 70. Like he's getting ready to die. But other than that, like, who are the stars now? They don't know anybody.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah, it's really I think that's an indictment against WWE because they don't know how to make stars anymore. Individual stars. It's like it's all the brand. It's the fucking network that they push incessantly instead of individual stars. Like, I'd rather they push Reigns to the sky at this point if it means getting away from the brand stuff. I think we'd be better off with better television, even if it's people incessantly fucking complaining that, you know, they can't decide if he had a better promo than Kevin Owens or not.
I don't think we're ever getting rid of the brand stuff. I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, I agree. I wish that they could use the brands to push individual stars more. I wish that they could make that compromise. Like, I feel like in that same idea, like I kind of agree with you that I wish that they would just pick people and push them through, but it seems like they have such poor judgment on what fans want. Vince has very poor judgment on what fans want so often that we wind up with stuff like Roman Reigns, where, like, if they had just pushed him and done it correctly from the beginning, like, and listened to what people wanted and didn't want from him, I feel like Reigns could have been a huge star. But instead it was like, no, this is the narrative we want from him, and so this is what we're gonna do. I wish that they would let the brand and the fans of the brand tell them what they want from their stars and do both things at once.
John Wick is what we fucking wanted with that guy. And it's also like, it bugs me too. Little stuff bugs me too, and I think it's little stuff that matters, like where it almost seems like you're nitpicky, but it does matter. For instance, last night, this is what was bugging me a lot, was they kept calling it a title opportunity. Like, they were literally like, Roman Reigns is going to have a match with Kevin Owens for a title opportunity. Like, you know how fucking lame that sounds? That does not make me want to watch your program. Like, especially anyone who's been exposed at all to Conor McGregor or Ronda Rousey or any big UFC star. Like, you will never fucking hear him use the word opportunity because it implies, like, niceties. Like, it's unnecessarily polite. It's like Roman's coming out and being like, hi, sir, I would like it if you could give me an opportunity to win your championship at the pay-per-view. Like, that's fucking lame. Like, say fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, make him you're not a big badass if you're using opportunity. I'd like the opportunity to fight you. Even then, it's how fucking stupid is that? It's lame.
Yeah. Title shot. Just say shot. Like, that's fine. It sounds so much better. And I think that can, like, the language that they use as a brand and inside and of WWE is a huge part of my problem with Roman too, where he's better on the mic and he's looser now, but he follows their script so closely in the wrong places. Like, he is good at improv and can react with the crowd and react with the other wrestlers sometimes, but then he makes sure that he uses that kind of stuff, like a title opportunity. Like, be creative in that moment and realize that word doesn't work and change it and they'll forgive you, as opposed to, like, that pushes that undercurrent of Roman is just this choice who's been chosen by the brand to do this.
Mm-hmm.
They used to do it to where they better understand your character and not memorize the script.
Right.
So if you have a better understanding of your character, you can go out and you can improv so much better. Like, you can know how you would react to situations. You can know what you would or would not say, and then go out and do it. Like, we'll give you a guideline. Just stay within that, and then go out and they make magic. And surprise, the promos were much better. I'm sorry, I'm very sick, everyone. That's why I sound ridiculous like this. There's a lot of allergy situation going on. But yeah, so the promos were so much better back then. It's just like, build your character. Like, don't fucking memorize a poorly written script by some geek never been in a fight in his life. Mm-hmm. Just bam. What's the case, right? I mean, no one's a title opportunity. Like, you get to a schoolyard fight, it's like, I have an opportunity to beat him later.
It sounds like someone who's been watching Lucha Underground and has heard Dario Cueto say unique opportunity and is like, yeah, that sounds great, but, like, fundamentally misunderstands why it works.
Yeah, totally.
Well, that's the other thing about it. I mean, it implies, and I think this goes to, like, what Erin was saying, too, about how it reinforces the perception of Roman as being this chosen guy. Is the opportunity makes it sound like you're something you're being given. It's not like, I mean, that's why you'd never hear McGregor say it, because even if he is given a bunch of shit by the UFC, he's never going to admit that. I mean, his whole persona is that he's this scrappy guy that takes whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so you would never, that's why part of why you'd never hear him. I mean, you're right.
The UFC is going to break pay-per-view records, and it's on the back of that guy. Yep. It's not because of the UFC brand. It's that guy. Like, I bought the pay-per-view just for Conor McGregor. Like, I don't watch UFC anymore. I used to cover it for a living. As soon as I got out of that, I was like, thank God I can stop watching that shit. But when McGregor fights, I'll spend $60. Fucking right I will. Just to get him, watch him fucking beat dude to become a double, multiple weight class champion. And to get in there and cut an awesome-ass promo to be like, I'd like to apologize to absolutely fucking nobody.
That was
the double champ does the fuck he wants and lifts both belts. That was the most baller fucking thing ever. You will never get that in WWE. It's sad because they script it. McGregor couldn't have known he'd win. UFC couldn't have known he would win. They didn't even have the fucking belt ready for him. Like, it was just an impromptu, really cool moment that you can get with a charismatic guy who's allowed to be himself, and in doing so, sells a shitload of pay-per-views. At WWE, everything is watered down, scripted to death, and you get a guy like Roman Reigns who should be a gigantic star. All my casual buddies come over. They don't even know who the fuck he is. It's horrible. We didn't mean for this to be about what's wrong with Roman Reigns. I want to know what you thought about Sasha and Charlotte.
I really, really enjoyed it.
Really? You didn't hate it like everyone else did?
I don't give a fuck if everybody else hated it. I really liked it. I was very disappointed at first because I really thought they were just going to cop out on that fight with the double count out. Like, because they've been building up to this no DQ match on SmackDown, I was like, there's no way that they're just going to like yank the rug out from underneath the SmackDown. But they did. I should have known because it's Raw, and that's what Raw does, I guess, which Survivor Series taught us. But I liked that Mick Foley came out and was like, no, you're going to do this. It's going to be no countouts. It's going to be no disqualification. It's going to be false count anywhere. And like, I felt like that is how they made it different from what Carmella and Nikki want with the no DQ match. So at least it was false count anywhere, and it's like those are definitely different kinds of matches, even though like they are very similar. But I liked it. I liked that Sasha got to beat the shit out of Charlotte with a kendo stick. Like, when have we seen stuff like that? When has WWE ever let their women rip on each other like that? It was nice to see it, even if like everything isn't perfect, and even if like it wasn't everything that I could have ever wanted from a false count anywhere match. Like, they did a great job, and that submission on the guardrail was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I also really liked that when Sasha got handed the title, she was like standing in that dude's lap, and he was freaking out like, how did I get so lucky that this is happening right in front of me? So that also contributed to my enjoyment of that match.
Sean?
Word. Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I have no problem. I actually have zero problems with it. So I think there's a valid criticism that there are problems with how Raw presents its women's division overall, but I don't think you have to do anything different with Sasha and Charlotte to fix those problems. It's not their fault. It's not their fault that they're having a great feud with awesome matches that logically build on one another. And, you know, the fact that Raw is not booking Bayley better or Nia better or Dana better is not the fault of this. There's a way you can do both. So I don't see this criticism that, you know, this ruins everything. I'm so sick of this. I'm sick of good matches. Yeah. Because I don't want to, if you, like I said all the time, I don't want to tell you how to be a fan. So if you are legitimately pissed off and you're more interested in the booking than you are the great match that we got, that's your right. I kind of feel bad for you, though, because I think you're sort of missing the forest for the trees. I'm probably using that metaphor wrong, but I don't see a problem with it. I think it's, how many women's main events have we had now? Was this the second or the third?
I think this was the second match, but they did their contract signing as the main event once too.
But still, we've just gotten 3 of them or 2 of them, and we're already like, no, it's not special anymore. I'm going to go right back to bitching about shit.
Exactly.
I feel like it's a good thing. I feel like it's a good thing that no one kind of even made it noteworthy.
I do think it's important. I'm glad that the storytelling on Raw didn't make it the focus. That it wasn't all that history like all the other ones have been.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do think it's pretty amazing that, you know, while we're still, the battle for women's wrestling equality is not won, and we're already like, fuck it. They're doing it wrong. I'm mad.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I think this was pretty amazing. I mean, the kendo stick moment, that stuff is some of my favorite stuff that I saw this year, and this has been a great year. Like the stuff, like her using the kendo stick to get out of the figure eight, I fucking was screaming my head off. Like the shot of her like dragging it while she walked towards Charlotte was like the badassest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm just going to make up words. It was the perfect use of the false count anywhere because the stipulation actually played into the end. That the picture of the submission with the people freaking out around her while they're both, I mean, is one of the best wrestling pictures I've ever seen. It was fucking phenomenal. And there are problems with WWE booking, but this is not news, and it shouldn't be a reason to like just not appreciate this match for what it was. For a little while before we all start bitching about the booking.
I don't mind. I think the booking made sense actually. Sasha gets the title. First of all, and this is the thing that happens too. Like we talk about UFC, like there have been trilogy matchups in UFC where guys have traded wins. Like that happens. Like these are the two best women's wrestlers in the fucking world, right? Yeah, that's the idea. So, like, of course they're, like, beating each other time and time again. Like, that's, to me, that should add to it. Like, it's a heavyweight fucking battle between the two best and who's better, and you can never really know. But I thought the storytelling was really good. I don't understand booking complaints. That seems silly to me. Like, everything, like you said, the storytelling was fucking top-notch. There were so many really great moments. The finish was dope as fuck. Even Ric Flair coming out and like
I liked seeing Ric Flair, and I like never liked to see Ric Flair. Basically,
it was like a fantastic moment. He's raising Sasha's hand. They cut to Charlotte. She's like openly sobbing in the crowd. Like there's emotion. I'm over Sasha crying every time like a moment happens that's supposed to be big. It's not big if you cry for every fucking one. Like then it's not special at all. But I will say there's validity to the people who say, look, at some point it's enough. Because at some point it is. Like I love, and my favorite food is probably, I like pork chops a lot, right? I don't want to fucking eat pork chops every night. I don't even want it once a week. Like after a long enough time, you go, let's eat something else. Like they're still great. It doesn't mean I like it any less. It just means I want something different. So I don't think that's unfair for people to have that complaint. I've seen that a lot, and I even in the recap said, we're to a point now. I think I'd like to see Sasha versus Nia Jax for the title. Yeah, I'd like to see someone else get the TV time.
But the other thing though is that, and I'm not, like I said, that I agree with that. They should be building more stuff.
Was Bayley even on this show?
Yeah, she had the whole moment with Sasha beforehand where Sasha shut her down and said, "I don't need to hear your pep talk." So they've set up feuds for both of these women with Bayley at any time it could start. They've set up the Sasha Nia feud that could start. It wouldn't take much work to set up a Charlotte Nia feud if you wanted to. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Mm-hmm. So they have used it to set up some ancillary stuff.
Right, I agree.
I mean, so it's not. It is. I totally agree. It is because it's more than a trilogy at this point. They've each beaten the other for the title 3 times. So it's a sextilogy or whatever, which sounds much nicer than I wanted to.
Probably better not using that word.
I like it.
But I mean, so it's a lot, and it probably, if it had been broken up with some like even just side quest type feuds, probably nobody'd be bitching. But they've made it the sole focus and it's more than just this series of matches. These two have been feuding since NXT, really, and they've started feuding as soon as they came into the main roster.
Yeah. So
I get that, but I do think, like I said, I just think I would encourage people who are really upset about the women's division and how that story's been told overall to take a deep breath and kind of look at what they've done with this, because I think it's a little bit more than you think it is. It's not just Orton Cena.
I think too, one of the things is, like I was just saying, Bayley was there, but she got like a very brief backstage thing, and it's probably setting up something for later. But another thing that probably contributed to the general fatigue with Charlotte and Sasha was they got 2 whole segments, and they got entrances for both of them. Yeah. Both times they both got full entrances, and it's like, look, again, none of the rest of the division gets fucking any time to do anything. Call me crazy. I actually like Alicia Fox. Like, I like when they do stuff with her character. When she's fucking stealing Coke from people in the fucking front row and, like, throwing it at people and eating their popcorn. Like,
Actually, Alicia Fox was on Raw last night because she's having this like side quest thing with Cedric Alexander. So
of course,
that's right.
That is happening,
See?
which is also really weird, but is also happening.
Which is awesome. Wrestling love stories are the fucking greatest. John, we just talked about this. I wanted more of that. And then there's Foxy, like, making googly eyes at old Cedric Alexander, who is a very pretty man.
Both of them are very pretty, so like if this is going to be...
They're almost too pretty to be together. That's... I don't know if I could handle that.
What a great thing to say. No, but I just think there's just a general fatigue and with those two segments, 2 inches. Like, show me. I want Nia Jax. Where the fuck is Emmalina? Like,
yeah, where the fuck is Emmalina?
Right?
Like, this is ridiculous.
Throwing shade. She's on Twitter throwing shade at these two. Like, good God, let this be over, Foley.
The rumor is that we're not getting Emmalina until after Roadblock now.
Fuck off.
What?
I mean, it's like a no DQ. It's a less reputable site, C type rumor.
Don't say them.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Fuck it, say them.
I just said the one. People can rewind it if they want to go back.
Yeah, we don't care.
And I don't have any problem throwing shade on them because they never source a goddamn thing.
Yeah, I mean, so it's just give us some. You know what I'd rather see? Erin, you're a cruiserweight fan, and so I'm not trying to be, this isn't whatever, but fuck the cruiserweights. 205 Live is the dumbest idea in the world. It's not going to get over. No one's going to care. Give the women that show. I'd watch that. That'd be more interesting to me than, little dudes who just don't ever have any story.
Well, I'm hoping on 205 they might actually have story, because they're also scrapped the whole Superstars team and are putting all of those people on 205 Live. And so I feel like they're going to actually try and make it like a real show. And I'm interested in I loved the Cruiserweight Classic because it was removed from Raw and SmackDown and didn't have that like purple ropes, purple lights bullshit going on. And so I'm hoping with 205 Live it'll get a little bit more back towards that. But I agree that it's not a great idea, and I don't think it's going to do super well, even though I personally will probably enjoy it.
I've been sort of, I've been down on the cruiserweights on Raw from the get-go pretty much, but I feel like they've done some things that might help. I'm not very optimistic that they're going to work, but I like the stuff with Swan and Kendrick last night. I feel like if this had been the Cruiserweight title feud coming out of the CWC instead of, I'm TJ, I play video games, then I think we might be in a different place today than we are now. I don't know. It may be sort of for mainstream audiences, that ship may have already sailed. I don't know if you're going to get them to care about these guys again.
Nope.
But, there's something going on. They're trying something. I mean, they're doing the Cedric Love. I mean, yeah. The problem is that what they're doing now is sort of the opposite of the stuff that made the Cruiserweight Classic work. So they may just end up alienating everybody. Like, if you tuned in for faux competition between athletes, and now all of a sudden we're worried about, like, is Alicia Fox, a jinx for Cedric or something? That's not going to appeal to that crowd. And the other crowd already has Raw and SmackDown, so they're not going to tune into the network just to watch smaller guys do the same stuff and the same stories. Yeah.
Can't play. I'll be that guy. They're vanilla midgets, man, like Kevin Nash said. There ain't nothing. I'll be that guy. There's just, it's not that interesting. You know what's interesting? Braun Strowman beating the shit out of everybody. It's interesting. Like I'm fully Baron Corbin. I'm Team Corbin for life, man. At least I love when he's like these little kids. Like, we don't need these little kids on this show. Daniel Bryan. Do you hate Baron Corbin?
I wanted to like him. I came around on him for a minute, but I just don't. There are so many things that I dislike about him. So many.
Like what?
I don't like that he's one of the only people who has a protected finisher. I think it's really stupid. I like the End of Days. I think it's a really dope move, but I think it's really stupid that Baron Corbin, of all people, for some reason is protected like that. It makes absolutely no sense. His pants are better. They used to be really bad. I will give him that. They look a lot better, but they were very tragic for a minute, and no, absolutely not. Will not deal with it. Also, he's very rapidly going bald, and like, that's fine, be bald, but like that, it doesn't work. None of it works. And we're supposed to think he's like this like attractive loner wolf, and like who thinks that? Who is this audience?
I think Corey Graves thinks that.
Well, Corey Graves has very questionable taste, so I don't know that I'm going to go with any of his opinions.
Damn. That was an Erin bomb.
I'm glad I asked you to elaborate.
Yeah. I don't just baselessly dislike people.
Why do you dislike? Well, let me tell you, his fucking pants are a tragedy.
So were Braun Strowman's, and his are much better now. It constantly looked like he pooped his pants when he had those old ones, and it's gotten much better.
It was awesome. Everything about him is great. Do you like Strowman?
I've come around on him a lot, actually. I like that they've changed his look a lot. I like the monster look. I think it works a lot better. He has a very tragic case of small face, where when he has all of his hair, his face is really like centered, and it makes him look like a big baby. And so I think when they shaved the sides, it actually makes him look menacing. I think he's gotten better on the mic. It's better to hear him with that like super deep voice too. I think it like contributes to that monster character. So now that he can talk better, I enjoy him a lot more, and I like that they're like stepping up his level of competition. And I like him with Sammy. I think it's a great idea for a feud, and I enjoyed their segment last night. I thought that Sammy did a great job. I think they're doing a good job of establishing Sammy as the underdog again, which he desperately needs. Like, he needs an actual push, but a smart character push. And I think Braun is the perfect opponent for that, and is in a place where he can do a good job. And I like that.
I don't know that they stepped up the competition.
Come on, Sami Zayn is better than James Ellsworth.
This is the kind of stuff that Geno does that gets me to say Sting sucks, and then just pout. He picks on Sammy or Cesaro for a while, and then I get mad, and then we don't talk for a couple of days. We're welcome you into our enlightened dialogue here behind the scenes in Cage Side Live.
That's the story. That's the whole fucking story, is that Sammy's a weak fuck. And by the way,
well, the whole fucking story is that Mick Foley has feelings, and those feelings are very strong. And yeah, I mean, one of the best things about that, because I've been on board with Sammy versus Braun from the get-go. I'd like to see Sammy get any kind of, I would have liked to have seen him at least knock Braun down last night or something. Give us something. But other than that, I mean, I'm just tired. Mick Foley. I was excited when Sammy was like, you know what, Mick, you're full of shit, and shut the fuck up, because somebody needed to say it.
I like that he got so angry he ripped his dental piece out. That was pretty dope. I was like, oh, damn, Mick is real.
It fell out, and then he grabbed it. Like, he's going to destroy me. He's going to destroy you. Like, passionate Foley, just a whole Santa sack of dicks. Just get the fuck out of here.
But so if we listen to Mick Foley's arguments from last night, we should just cancel wrestling. Because no one will ever beat Braun Strowman. He is a force of destruction, the likes of which no one could possibly withstand. And Mick Foley is going to protect us all from Braun.
If that's true, and also, why are you booking him in matches, you piece of shit?
And also, like, he's an unstoppable monster and unstoppable force, but James Ellsworth sticking his pencil arm out from underneath the ring stopped him from getting inside. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Great.
It briefly, impeded his progress. For a one count.
He is such a lumbering monster that he's not used to anything slowing him down. So when something provided the least little bit of resistance, he was befuddled. He had no idea what to do. It wasn't that he couldn't have climbed into the ring. He was just it didn't process. Like, what the fuck is actually? Why is my foot not doing what it's supposed to do? It always does what it's supposed to do. Oh my god! I better kill this guy.
Someone Jeff Sean's face when he said befuddled. That's and then put befuddled on it. That's a great meme. Strowman's the greatest, and Foley's the worst. Strowman's the best, and Foley's the worst. And it's funny because
it's all absolutes with Geno.
Yeah, right. There's not a lot of gray area.
Nothing in between. Everything is either the best thing or the worst thing.
What's funny is I am passionate Foley, I guess. Like, yeah.
But you don't cry. You don't emote and then emote at a higher volume, which is the only the only two settings Foley has.
It is a weird thing. Like, as soon as he starts yelling, you're like, oh fuck, Foley's got feelings again. Like, he's yelling at it for the weirdest shit. Like, he booked Sasha and Charlotte in the Hell in a Cell and then started yelling at him about it. Like, you guys don't know what you're getting into. Like, you put us there, asshole. Or like, books Zayn in the match with Strowman, and then he's like, he's gonna fucking kill you. Like, what's the matter with you? What is the fucking matter with you, Foley? His teeth are falling out. Like, people on Twitter were like, this guy's a mess. Does he have this job? Like, how bad does this look for Raw?
I mean, honestly...
Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, honestly, it made him look better because later we got to see Paul Heyman and we were like, well, at least he doesn't look as bad as Paul Heyman.
Just a lot of old guys looking bloated and fucked up. Is what
I have to say, I think there's something to this. This is another thing about the Sasha Charlotte match too. Is I think at this point, Vince McMahon is in full on or WWE Creative is in full on. You're not going to guess what we're going to do mode, right? They gave us the Goldberg squash. Now we all said there's no way they'll swap this title again. They did, and nobody was expecting drunk, not shaving Paul Heyman to show up.
Yeah.
And cry. If you said that was what you were expecting, you're a liar. Nobody was expecting crying, drunk Paul Heyman last night.
He really sold it. He looked bloated and like...
Oh, yeah. He looked like he hadn't showered since Survivor Series.
He's all fucked up.
He is a mess.
What happened, Paul?
Yeah, it was something.
Tears already in his eyes and shit.
Yeah, he was crying before Michael Cole opened his mouth. Which is honestly, if you have to sit across from Michael Cole, you're probably gonna cry. But
he's been bathing in his own tears for a week now.
One of my friends texted me. She was, I was at a different place than she was watching it, and she was like, "Is Paul Heyman growing a sadness beard?" I was like, "I think yes, actually, that is what it appears that he is doing."
I love it.
Looks like it's a breakup beard. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's a sadness beard.
Brock Lesnar finally lost clean beard. I don't know what to do with it. It does suck that we don't get Lesnar on TV though. Like this was of all times to not have him show up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, could Brock have done what Paul Heyman just did, though? Like, I don't think so. I don't think that I would have been as impressed with Brock looking sullen and embarrassed. I want to see Brock come back pissed.
He's really good in those interview settings. Where
but I think I don't know. I don't think we've seen him. I'm with Erin on this one. I think this was good. We can see him later, but at first you want Paul selling devastated with the ominous warning about you don't want to know what Brock's thinking.
Right.
That's fair.
Like out in the woods chopping down trees.
Exactly.
Angry as hell. Like I don't want to see him right now.
Sable offered him some pancakes. He didn't even take the pancakes. He couldn't even get him to take them. He's still out in the forest cutting stuff.
He's chopping down trees and shooting deer.
Yep.
You're all fucked.
He's not shooting deer. He's personally taking them down with his hands.
He's just now I'm imagining Lesnar like hauling ass in a forest, like tackling deer at high speeds.
He's gone full werebear. He is turned into a bear and is attacking woodland creatures.
I wish
eating them with his hands.
Woodland creatures. I'd pay to put that on the network. I hope he grows his beard out too. Lesnar looks
that
phenomenal.
would be badass.
Yes.
That's
Lesnar with a beard is great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He showed back up with the beard and covered in deer blood.
Holy shit.
Just his hair is down to his shoulder. He's full Grizzly Adams. He just comes back, rips one of Goldberg's arms off, and beats him to death with it. End scene.
And Heyman still at his side, having not showered, still crying.
Thank you. You're welcome, WWE. You can book that for free.
Take it. You can have that idea.
See, Goldberg and Lesnar, they're going to come back. They're going to eliminate each other from the Rumble after like 30 seconds, and they're going to collect $1 million and go home.
Yeah, they're going to be 1 and 2.
That's what I said.
No wonder Cena's
entrance. Yeah, and number 3 is going to come out and just stand around and do the old Stone Cold staring at his watch shit. Yeah, I'd be good with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Keep them away from everybody else. I think that's actually a good idea.
They exist in their own little universe.
Yeah.
If they can spend the entire rest of the Rumble match fighting backstage and we just get to see that and they don't actually have to be out there, great.
That's
awesome.
what he said.
That's Geno's other idea. He wants them to brawl across America. We just check in like, oh, they're in Lincoln, Nebraska.
They should fight over the dead deer carcass.
Exactly. Every once in a while, they spot a prey animal and they stop and they attack it together and eat. And then
eat it and then keep fighting.
Oh,
fuck yes! Please take this idea. What else happened on Raw? We haven't.
Cesaro and Sheamus fought in a fake bar where no one else had any drinks.
They fake fought in a fake bar.
Someone had a drink because he burped in Cesaro's face.
And Cesaro, apparently Guinness is not on Cesaro's diet because he totally he clinked glasses, but he did not take a sip of that Guinness.
I actually really liked this. I've hated this story.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sean. You didn't like it?
No, I did like it because it's just, I mean, I'm not going to defend it as like anything highbrow or good or anything. It's just stupid pro wrestling fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who doesn't love a good bar fight? And like, these two are like the two like real masculine, like, you know, they just like to, you know, the big dudes love to fight, you know, like the types that you would expect to see in a bar, like, you know, talking about their woes, like bonding over that. And then like someone fucks with them and they're like, okay, I'll fuck with this dude, but you can't fuck with this dude. Like, and you have that moment of realization, and then you fight together. Like, Cesaro no-sold a fucking beer bottle getting broken over his head. Like, how dope was that? This was awesome.
He threw a dude through a wall. Yes, it was a cardboard wall, but it still looked cool.
I hate
it was still pretty dope.
Mad at that. Like, they were like, "Oh, it's obviously a prop wall." Like, do you fucking know the program you're watching?
Right?
It's a silly ass thing to say to me. like you're tweeting this at a pro wrestling account. Fucking prop wall and fake violinists. I'm tired of wrestling these dudes.
So they were in some sort of special secret wrestler bar that exists parallel to a real bar, is what I thought was interesting. There's a whole world going on right behind our eyes where wrestlers do normal things, but they don't interact with us. There's a secret supermarket when I go down to the Safeway and like fucking, you know, Kevin Nash is getting some
protein bars, yeah.
I can't see them. It's like Stranger Things. They're on the upside down.
I'm gonna think that everywhere I go now.
Yeah, this is. I'm not. I mean, like I said, we argued about that Cesaro Sheamus setup when it happened. But
horrible.
I still say at least it's a fucking story. It might be a bad story. But they're doing, like, you can't say Cesaro's not getting a push because when a lot of people can't get time on this show, he got a fucking, you know, bar fight set up. That's, I guess, leading to them staying a tag team. So
it was a bad enough story that there were way too many people who were certain Mick Foley was going to come out and put Sasha and Charlotte in a tag team. Like,
I think if Mick's going to be consistent, that's what he should have done. He should have come out and said, "It can't end like this. You have to be partners.
I can't lose you. You mean too much to me." Fucking Foley.
I think you guys can beat the New Day.
I want Orton to run in and do like an RKO out of nowhere in the back, like what Canyon used to do in Nitro. Yep. Just RKOing random fucking cameraman. Just do that to Foley and put him out forever.
I feel like my biggest complaint with Cesaro and Sheamus is that it just feels like you're saying, Sean, it's a story, but it's a bad story, and it reminds me of the Goldust, R-Truth, we're meant to be together story, and it's like, yeah, that went on forever and then had no satisfying conclusion, and so I'm worried that's what's going to happen with Cesaro and Sheamus, is that like, okay, yeah, we learned to love this, and I'm really glad that they're together, and what does this do exactly? What purpose does this serve? I'm worried that now that they aren't like the tag team champions, that it's just going to be like, oh, here's this mid-card throwaway tag team, and it's nothing good will come from it.
I'm hoping, and that's what I was going to ask you guys, because I can't tell if I'm actually seeing what I think I'm seeing, or if I'm just such a fucking Cesaro mark that I see what I want to see. But I kind of feel like as they sort of slowly turn the New Day heel, and these guys are slowly getting more popular, and there's no reason to have book two guys to beat up a bunch of people in a bar who made fun of them, other than to make them baby faces. I kind of feel like maybe they're building to where Cesaro and Sheamus will be the ones to beat New Day. Not until 14 to 17 days pass, but...
Is that what it's down to?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like 2 weeks, but like Kofi tweeted something about 15 days, then in his promo, Xavier said 17 days. They don't really, nobody, it's all made up, but it's close. Yeah, they're at 460 something, and the title and Demolition is 478, I think.
Thank God.
Yep, it's almost over.
Almost over. I do want them to beat it. I think that they should beat it. It's been long enough, and like no one else will do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's time, and like this is a good way to, like, we complain about how they don't make stars. Like, this is a good way to make a star tag team. Like, they'll be the people that are pointed to later. Like, they had the longest tag team run, and they're a current generation tag team. Like, I think the WWE needs that, and like it sucks that it's felt like inevitable that they're going to pass this. But I feel like in the last couple of weeks they've done a good job of booking them. Like, oh shit, maybe they will take this away from them, and I kind of enjoy that.
To your point, Sean, I think I didn't thought of that, but I think you might be right. And I think that's a good thing, because if you're going to go this far with this fucking story, at least give it that good payoff, right? Because that was the whole idea all along, was that they're so good.
Right. If they could just get on the same page, there'd be no... That was Foley's speech. If you guys just got on the same page, nobody could beat you. And now they're finally getting on the same page just as New Day's about to break the record. I hope so, but I've been known to read shit into stuff that wasn't there before, so that's why I'm asking you guys.
And yeah, Cesaro has already been a tag champ once and like was good at it and did a good job in that role. Like, I would like to see him do that. And I also feel like that's an easy way to then pass the belt on after them. Like, okay, now we've done this and we're just going to go back to being singles wrestlers. Like, okay, that's easy. Whereas like with New Day at this point, if you take it off of them, like their whole thing is that they're a dominant tag team. So you need somebody who can really beat them.
Are either of you two angry at the treatment of Gallows and Anderson?
It makes me a little sad. I wouldn't say I'm angry.
It makes me sad too.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Because I saw
they're so good.
I saw complaints, like someone said the greatest indie team of 2015, and Vince has made them look like dog shit. Is that true?
They're boring.
I mean, I think
they are.
To me, the thing that they did with these guys that was bullshit was splitting them from AJ. It's not even that they lose a lot. It's that that was their personalities. They were AJ's backup, and as long as AJ's a heel, he should have that.
Yeah, I agree. It just made no sense to separate them.
Well,
like they wanted them to be
a problem if he
exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
Or Ellsworth might be even more over if he somehow outsmarted all three of them. I mean, I don't know.
You know that's what they would do, too, actually. Yeah. Think of it. Would be some zany scheme with Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
I love SmackDown, but I'm really glad we don't...
Paper.
The Mountie. Like, he always gets his man. Like, I actually laughed at that. Thought it was great. I'm glad we don't have to we don't recap SmackDown on this show though, because I love the show. I think it's great, and I'm like slowly morphing into that asshole who's like it's way better than Raw. But I'm glad we don't have to talk about it because I couldn't handle like Dean Ambrose is one of their top guys, and that's fucking dumb.
Oh, I love it. Disagree. Strong disagree.
Do you really disagree? Tell me why.
I really like Dean Ambrose. I think that he's a really good wrestler. I feel like they.
Sorry, that's out loud.
No, we don't. That's how little we want to hear that opinion of Dean Ambrose. Did we really totally lose her?
Did we really? I didn't do anything. She's still. Oh, she's frozen. She said Dean's a good wrestler, and I inadvertently I made a reflex gagging noise, but I didn't mean to cut her off.
I hope she's not mad at us. She's just.
I don't know. Can we get her back? Is there anything? This is like what happened the other day when I couldn't hear you, but apparently everybody else could hear both of us. So. Yeah.
I could still hear you, yeah. This is such a cage side live thing. And it's great, too, because we didn't plan to fuck with Enigma Erin from Not Your Demo like they fucked with me. I actually wanted to hear what she had to say. I wanted the rest of her bad opinion on Dean Ambrose.
I don't know. I can see I can see an option to bounce her. Can you, like, DM her and tell her to come back in? I'll kick her out. And
we're going to shut mine down if I try to open a new tab.
Oh, well, maybe I can try to DM her. Hold on. I'm going to kick her out. All right. Now I gotta go.
I'm like, they fucking booted me. How dare they?
Am I allowed to DM? I always talk to Stella. I never really talked to Erin. Let me see. The Enigma, Erin Cline. This is good radio right here. Everybody's like, "Oh awesome. Boy, I can't wait to. Will Erin get back? I can't wait to find out."
I sent her a DM that just said, "Click back in." I'm bad at communication. Is this story?
I just sent her one that said, "Come back." I don't know. That's sort of
come back,
baby, come back.
Come back, I'll never let go, Jack.
See, this is why I don't sing anything. in public.
And then immediately let's go. This is what happens when a Nick Aaron goes away. We just start singing.
We're lost without her.
Singing poorly and quoting
lost
Titanic.
Without you.
I'll never let you go, Jack. Immediately lets him go.
There you go. What else? Do you want to talk about Tyson? Do you want to talk about Tyson Kidd at all or anything?
There was room on that fucking board, by the way. Rose didn't have to kill Jack.
Here's a true fact. I have never seen that movie in its entirety. And
really?
It's my goddaughter's favorite movie. She's seen it like 90 times, so I've watched part of it with her a bunch of times and fallen asleep or something or gotten tired of it and walked away.
It's a good movie. I
don't dislike what I've seen. I've just never sat through the whole thing.
I think they were a little misguided in telling a love story instead of just getting right to the iceberg, fucking killing the boat. Because that's why everyone's watching. We're not watching for Rose and falling in love with like a 12-year-old.
I think some people were watching for Leonardo DiCaprio. Some people have hard eyes for Leo.
He was so young in that movie, dude.
Yeah, we've watched him grow up before our eyes.
We sure have, haven't we?
So she's not coming back, is she?
Enigma, I'm looking at. Are we still live? Can people hear us?
It says live up in the corner gimmick right there.
It's funny because we were talking about fucking internet problems before. Maybe she's not like coming back because her shit just got completely knocked off. Let's blame Fagan for this. What a piece of shit he is.
It has to be Fagan's fault. I think probably his shins, probably the hair on Mike Fagan's shins probably interrupted all the internet connections in the greater Chicagoland area.
I loved that show because he put his leg right in front of the camera and just would not move it.
Yeah, baby, what? Look at this.
Put your foot away.
Sorry, I was trying to get my leg up there, but I'm not flexible enough. I ordered, here's a true story. Since we're just fucking off the rails, I ordered DDP Yoga on the Black Friday special. Yes, when that baby shows up in the mail, we'll see if it changes my life.
You'll have to document the process.
Apparently, AJ Styles is now. AJ credits it. You remember all those reports about how his back was bad and he was going to have to retire?
Well, how he walked out at the Rumble fucking gimping like a 90-year-old?
Yep. DDP Yoga saved his life.
Die? Yeah, that's awesome to hear. I don't want to talk about the Tyson Kidd thing because it's very upsetting. I think actually because I'm sensitive to cover-ups, and lies and shit right now. So it's like, it's just it feels so bad to me to think that like they mistreated him, and that's the word, right? Like his Bruce Hart, right? His what's the relation there?
Well, Bruce Hart is Natty's uncle, so he's Tyson's uncle-in-law, I guess. Yeah.
So either way, like he had come out and said that they didn't take it seriously enough. They made him drive to the hospital himself. They didn't treat him well, and then like we found out, he almost fucking died. Like it's a very serious thing. Like if his neck wasn't built the way it is, if he wasn't as muscular as he is, as in shape, the athlete that he is, maybe he does die. If it was you or I taking that, it probably didn't make it. And the idea that they mistreated him, or he wasn't given the absolute best in what almost certainly is the absolute worst moment of his life, is very upsetting to me because they preach so much shit. As far as this kind of stuff goes, there's always, all these concussion lawsuits, the CM Punk thing where here's another Z-Pack, all that kind of stuff. It's hard enough watching wrestling and knowing what it does to the people who participate in it to think that the biggest company that has the most money, that should be the most able to provide top-notch care to guys who need it, is failing to do so on such a massive level. And the idea that they would take him off a show, and he's awesome on that show. Like he was always really fun. Like he's one of the most interesting things about it. Like his relationship with Natty's this wacky, weird fucking thing. Like we've talked. I know you don't watch the show, but he's. Always
I usually watch the highlights, and he's usually hard about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and the idea that they wouldn't, don't film him or put him on because he might say something that we don't want people to know.
That's weird too, because I thought, because the story was, remember when it was going to be, which I guess isn't the case, like the first 4 episodes were going to chronicle the love of Paige and Del Rio,
and then
the story at that point was, well, that's because WWE doesn't produce this other company does, And so, like, Paige's contract isn't even with WWE for Total Divas and all this shit. But now it looks like that was false because they managed to get Del Rio pulled off, and now
that was a Pro Wrestling Sheet story, and they fucking pimped that they're 100% accurate, and they were wrong about that because it looks that way, and they're the ones who reported this same thing.
Yep.
Excuse me. So I don't know, but yeah, it's keep going though. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, I mean that's just. I mean, I think. Well, the other thing that's weird about it too is that it sounds like some of it has to do with like they don't want to talk about why he hasn't gotten any better, which is weird. Like, I mean, or maybe the answer to that is because they didn't get him treatment in time, and that ties into the allegations of mistreatment on the front end or something. I don't know. I mean, it's just a sad story all the way around. I mean, especially for this guy whose whole thing was all I ever wanted to do was be a pro wrestler, and he was finally starting to like get over in a meaningful way. Partially because of Total Divas, I think, but also because the Cesaro team up was working really well. And it also, I mean, you know, Cesaro's fine and there's nothing to be sad about there really. But it also might have been the way that Cesaro got over to the next level, and it ended right as soon as it was getting started, and it just sucks.
Yeah. We talk about those things, and the talk that we had on our last show about protecting characters and things like that, it kind of helped me change the way I look at stuff. Like, in the sense of like, oh, they're wasting Cesaro. You know, he should go to a different company. Like, you hear people say that. And I used to always be like, will you fuck off? Like, they're not wasting anybody. But in a way, right, like, I mean, these guys, if their characters are kind of beaten down and they're not treated properly and they're made to job a lot, things like that, then it does affect their career. It affects their ability to make money. It affects all these things. So I definitely look at that a little bit differently now. And yeah, that's another aspect of this. It's very sad to think of that, because they were there. The fucking GIFs live on to this day. The fucking clap fact stuff and all that. Like, that shit was really fun. And they're a really cool team that had a dope finish, or even the swing into the drop kick to stop the swing was always really cool. Like, he's a great fucking wrestler.
Yep.
So it's really sad that this has all happened the way it has. And there's been no, Joe still does the move. He's the fucking NXT champion. It's just,
I mean,
I don't punish him or anything, but it just, I don't know, it feels weird. It just sucks.
I mean, the thing, like I said, I have never even trained to be a wrestler, so I don't know enough to say whether that's reckless or not. I mean, it seems to me that I would hope that they wouldn't let him keep doing it if there was a real chance that it would injure more people that way. The thing that bothers me is I think Joe seems like a decent human being in his, Twitter persona and things like that. So I think that's got to fuck with you, that your move, whether you meant to or not, whether it was reckless or not, your move ended this dude's career. That's got to be. I hope that's a burden on somebody on some level. I mean, I know you can't let it run your life or anything like that. I mean, it's the risk of wrestling, but it's still got to suck.
And wasn't the whole thing too that like they sent him out there without warming him up, like it was a dark match? They just kind of, hey, you two go out and wrestle.
That was, I think Brett even said. I think that was part of what Brett said, was like, it's the other thing because Brett said that Joe's move was reckless, but he also said that these guys got no time to prep or warm up. It was, I don't even think Joe knew he was there to wrestle, kind of a thing. They just had him go work a dark match.
By the way, I got an update from Enigma Erin. Her connection crashed. She's trying to reset.
Well, I'm done talking to you, so she better hurry up. She said it's
telling me I'm not allowed to. She said it's telling her she's not allowed to join the call.
What?
That's so weird. Send her an invite.
All right, I will. I don't really have her email. I'll send her the link again, but it should be the same thing she's got.
That's radio.
Because I have Stella's email. I don't have Erin's.
Are you on? How do you follow each other on Twitter? You can DM her.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just going to be the same link she already has, isn't it?
I would think, but wouldn't that? Oh yeah, you can do the invite thing.
I mean, you can email an invite, but I don't have her email.
I don't either.
I think that would be the same link too.
Maybe it will. I just sent it to her. We'll see if it works, and if it doesn't, we'll just get out of here. But we'd hate to not get the chance to have her back and hear the rest of her bad Dean Ambrose opinion.
I know, right? She loves Dean Ambrose. That is a crazy thing.
That's a surprise to me. Who loves that guy?
Yes. Well, like Lady J used to love him, but she doesn't anymore. But she's a volatile character sometimes, that Lady J. So, I don't know.
She gets herself worked up.
She does. I don't know. sometimes I like Dean. I don't hate Dean. I just don't think he's a good wrestler. She threw me with that. Like I can't think of one like, oh, I love that Dean Ambrose match, or a match where I don't think it was mostly because of the other person. Like just the rebound clothesline and
the Money in the Bank stuff, the stuff with
Dirty
Seth.
Deeds is stuff. Dirty Deeds is a dumb move. The lunatic dive, or what do they call that? The suicide lunatic, flying lunatic, Michael. I don't like any of that. So
keeps telling her she's not allowed to join, so I guess.
Fuck. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Can I?
We're too technologically stupid to handle this.
Share my screen. I don't want to do that. Can't. Opening cameraman. Whoa, fancy. I don't know what that is. I'm going to shut that. I don't know what to do. I don't know.
Hang on.
What's I don't know. Tell her to
I told her we're too technologically stupid to know how to handle this. I think this means we can't have you back yet. We'll have to do another.
Possibly ever again.
We'll have to do another. That's sad, man. She was really fun. I enjoyed talking to her a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Way better than Stunning Stella. Ooh.
Damn, trying to start some stuff between the NYD ladies, the ladies of NYD.
No, not at all. Was there anything else from Raw that we wanted to get to before we did get out of here?
Chris Jericho took a pedigree on the roof of a car.
On the roof of a car from a guy wearing skinny jeans. He really fills them out, though, boy. I tell you what.
That Seth is something. Anything else? No, I don't think so.
New Day. I guess we talked about that.
We sort of talked about them, yeah. I think we actually talked. We talked more about Raw than we usually do. I think.
Yeah.
Go us.
R.I.P. R-Truth. Gold Dust. That was the whole show. Wow, what a show.
What a show.
Bye.
Thanks, Erin. Bye.